This is Jeramie from Inhuman Condition, and you're watching RichardMetalFan.
Hey, what's up, guys? Episode 77 of RichardMetalFan Interviews. Here outside of Center Stage in Atlanta, Georgia, and I'm here chatting with Jeramie from Inhuman Condition. How are you doing today?
Doing good, buddy. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. So I know you're currently on this awesome tour right now with Deicide, Kataklysm, Human Condition. How's the tour been going so far? Most typical interview question ever.
Yeah, well, it's far exceeded any... you know, there's a lot of tours out right now. There has been a lot of tours out. It's like, you know, first year back from COVID, so like everybody's out. So we didn't know what to expect, but this tour has been far exceeded anything that we expected or anticipated. And that goes for Deicide, Kataklysm, and Inhuman Condition as well. So it's been really good. It's been a very good tour.
Awesome. So you have your new album, Fearsick, which has been out now. Can you talk to me about the whole writing and recording process of that and how that all came to be and that good stuff?
Right. Well, so we had already had half the record written. They were, when we recorded Rat God, which was our first album, we had 14 songs written, recorded. And then we put 9 of those, and not because they were the strongest and we had leftovers, we just put the ones that paired well together on Rat God. So we had 5 songs sitting in a bucket, and we're like, well, we need to do something with these. And my brother and I are Taylor Nordberg, we're insane people, and we're like, let's put another record out. And we're like, so soon? And we're like, yeah, I mean, let's just do it, you know. So we've been calling them Irish twins. We put them out like, you know.
Great analogy.
Yeah, thanks. Right. So we're like, yeah, let's put them out. So we wrote 4 new songs, and I mixed them all together to make them sound like one record, and we released them. We released them in a, there we go. So we wrote 4 new songs for the record, and then 5 were left over. I don't want to say leftover. 5 were sitting there on deck.
Yeah, so you just felt inspired. You just like after the first album, you're just like, well, let's write another one. Yeah,
we're crazy. Like, I think that we're actually like idiots. We're on this tour. I'm doing 3 jobs on this tour. I'm doing front of house for Kataklysm and Deicide, and then I'm also doing performing in Inhuman Condition. I also do all of our live sound too. I set it all up, and then whenever it's time to get to lead vocals, I go up there and I let the house guy take over, and then he just flies the faders from there. But given all that, my brother is also playing in Deicide, so he's doing double duty. And yesterday,
and you're doing triple duty.
Triple duty, yeah. I'm not trying to be a one-upper, but you know, he's got a hard gig though. I mean, he's up there doing the devil's work. So
yeah, I'm surprised you live to tell the tale.
Yeah, right. I mean, 30 days off, only 2 days. 30 days in a row, only 2 days off. It's been pretty brutal. But anyways, he said yesterday, he's like, I want to write some new music, and I was already writing. I was kind of in talks with Decibel. Because they have that flexi thing, and I'm like, what if we wrote a new song for a flexi, you know? So I don't know, man. We're crazy. We're always thinking about writing new music, so here we are.
Awesome. And being as this is the second full-length album, usually with the debut albums, you have your entire career and your life to write it. Did you feel pressure to follow up Rat God going into Fearsick?
No, hell no, man. I actually had more shit to say, so it was sort of easy for me to personally pen lyrics and write drums. I don't know. It feels like a limitless well, but maybe I'll hit a limit, but I don't know. Yeah. I hope not, right?
Yeah, and I know conceptually, given like the title, it talks about like the fear as well. Did like the concept help like influence like the writing of the music in a way a little?
No, the title actually came dead last. We had artwork and everything, so I was pining. Now that was a bit of like I was pining over that. I'm like, what do we go with? Like, how do we... I mean, Rat God, I think that's just, like, such a strong album title. Just on its own, it's, like, interesting to me. So, I was, like, worried that I wouldn't come up with a good title that, like, tied the room together. And I didn't want to just take the lazy approach and pick a song title and name it, you know, the record. You know, I could have done that. I could have called it The Mold Testament. I could have called it, you know, whatever. But I wanted a title that encompassed the record. And I conceptualized in the 11th hour of Fearsick. You know, it's the same concept as being like when people are dope sick, they go through withdrawals and they shake and they're like, you know, they're visibly sick, you know. And I know people who are so afraid. You know, we wrote a song about it on the first record. It's called Euphorophobia. That's for people who are afraid to be alive. Yeah, and that's it right in the lyrics, you know, euphorophobia, you know, afraid to be alive. So So this kind of actually ties both the rooms together, Fearsick does, because a lot of people are afraid of everything. They're afraid of even just living, and maybe this will help you not to be that. You know, that's the hope. It's not to be like, it's not like a call-out culture and like, you're different. I mean, we all have similarities, and we all have faults and shortcomings, and music brought everybody together, brings everybody together, we've kind of gotten away from that a little bit, but I think the sense of community is returning, which is really cool, if you ask me.
Yeah, and I noticed like you played with so many bands. I know like on your profile on Metal Archives, there's like a ton of bands. Does the mindset change depending on the bands that you're in, or is there like a method that applies to all the madness?
No, it fully, it's like switching between genres and vibes is creative license to paint with a different color palette. So it's totally different, like, I mean, I may get to, like, I have a punk band and it doesn't sound like a metal band at all. It doesn't sound like a metal band. It just sounds like a fucking punk rock band, which is great, like an old early 90s skate punk band, which I love that, I mean, I would never play like a blast beat in that, or, I would, like, I approach the drums differently to that, and like how I would play a fill, is approached differently. And so that's really an awesome creative license to switch color palettes. So far, I'm not hindered by switching that. There's no formula for me. I'm kind of like a live wire. I don't typically write any drums going into something, or I don't write anything going into it. I just allow spontaneity to take over and move me wherever it sees fit. Now, except for the new Absence record, which I just tracked that on drums, I did do there's almost just a car wreck. You guys missed it, viewers at home.
Yeah, crazy shit in Atlanta, folks.
The new Absence record, I did demo out 85% of the record on drums, so that allowed me to write, which was fun. I mean, but I don't normally do that. It's been like since Riders of the Plague, which was the Absence second record, which came out in 2007. That was the last time that I like really sat and wrote stuff and really had it work. Actually, I lied. Infernion, I did. What's the name of that record? Not Genesis to Nemesis. It was the next one. Cancer Within. There we go. I pre-productioned all that record, but for the most part, I just do it all spontaneity and just allow it to happen. So.
Good. Awesome. And kind of like going to songwriting, as a drummer, there's always the saying, like, if your drummer sucks, then your band sucks. But usually, do you usually have a drum pattern written, and then the rest of in whatever band you're in, they write according to that, or do you need to hear what the guitars and stuff are doing in order to lay down a drum pattern?
Well, I mean, it goes both ways. I've done it both ways. Like, let me give an example. On the first Inhuman Condition record, the song Tyrantula, I wrote that drums only. There was no guitars. I just had an idea of a vibe that I wanted to bring to the table rhythmically. So I wrote all that I hummed shit in my head and played along to a metronome and just created the vibe that I wanted to create. And then my brother went in there and, well, now you hear the song how it is. And he did all that on top of my foundation that I put down. And then we've done it in reverse. We've written stuff together. He'll have guitar riffs, and then I'll go ahead and I'll start playing. So, you got me?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, good. All right, so he'll do that in reverse. And I think there was another song. I think Caustic Vomit Reveries on Fearsick. I wrote drums first, but I might be wrong. It might be one of the other new ones, but it depends. We do it both ways, just to keep it fresh and keep it fun.
All right, and also going with songwriting, do you usually, does like inspiration come for songwriting just come out of nowhere, or do you try to like put yourself into a certain mind frame in order to get the creative juices flowing?
It's both of those things. Both of those things typically have to happen. The stuff has to come, and then when the muse shows up on the door, you hang out with her. And you see where it goes. But also, you need to be, well, for me, I need to be in the headspace of, like for instance, the Absence. Like, when I was 21 and I wrote the stuff that I wrote on Riders of the Plague, I was in a headspace. So I have to, to get back into that headspace, I have to slip back into that headspace. But also, you still have to be creative as well and, push boundaries, which that also has that, So both of those things, I think, are symbiotic for me.
All right, and kind of like I got a couple more for you.
Let's go.
For you, because you also mentioned that you're also a front of house sound engineer.
Yep.
Does that I kind of a dumb question, but does it technically also kind of like bring ideas like for you musically or for songwriting?
No, I don't think so. But then again, maybe subconsciously it does. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I understand audio, so yeah. I mean, I do all of our. My brother and I do all of our productions. I do the mixing, cement truck. Yeah. I do all the mixing. He masters. You know, so we do so much audio work to where I don't think there's a line of. There's not really a line of separation. It's just kind of, it's the landscape of where we're at.
Awesome. So I mean, is it considered like front of house sound engineering and playing like live and making music almost kind of like two separate forms of art?
Oh man, I totally think so. I used to think that when I was younger, like most musicians, you know, you want to play the big festivals. You grow up seeing people doing these, like, you know, Pantera doing Donington, or, you know, Metallica. You know, you see these huge things, or even like you know, Journey playing Rock AM Ring or any of that stuff. You think like, wow, that's it. You know, I want to do the big shows, you know, like Hellfest and Wacken. So for 3.5 years, I played drums exclusively with Venom, and Venom Inc. And I did that touring circuit for Ave, and I didn't do any front of house. And then some friends of mine in Warbringer and Enforcer asked me if I would go out and do front of house for them. And during that time that I was out playing drums, I did play Wacken, and I did play Hellfest, and I played Aftershock, and I played Bloodstock, and I played huge fests, right? Seas of people, and like, I got to do that. So they asked me if I wanted to go do front of house, and I was like, yeah, let's go. I got the time, so let's make it happen. So I went and did it, and when I rolled Warbringer's intro, and they were about to come on stage, I realized that the same feeling I get when the intro rolls when I'm on stage and I'm about to start, the same feeling overtook me. So I realized at that point that it's not really performing, it's being involved in music. Because doing front of house is killer, man. You're in control of a lot. You're responsible for everybody's evening. I mean, their interpretation of whatever the band is giving off. I mean, you help cause the headbanging. You're what they go home talking about. You know, they're like, wow, the guitars were killer, or wow, his vocals sounded so. Or man, did you hear that reverb tail on you know, all that stuff, any of that stuff. That's like, it's a very integral and important part, you know. And so I realized then that it was like, I love doing both, you know. So this tour is, while it's draining as shit, I'm not gonna lie, but and I've been saying it's powered by Red Bull and coffee, because holy shit.
Sponsor this video, please.
Sponsor. Yeah, we'll pop a big Red Bull up right here, like right in my hand.
I'll just try to edit, use my magical editing skills.
But yeah, it's been draining, but it's rewarding. It's really rewarding, you know. People come up to me and like, holy shit, the whole evening, you know. I get that a lot. People come up to me at the soundboard and they're like, the whole evening, and I'm like, awesome, thank you. Yeah. Have a good night, drive safe, get home safe. Yeah. See you next time, you know, all that shit.
Yeah, and then sort of like wrapping it all up with the album Fearsick. Is that like a sound that you want to stick with, or do you want to like experiment with the next album?
You know, I think naturally it doesn't matter what we do. We could copy Fearsick exactly, or we could copy Rat God exactly and put the same thing out, and people will say it's different. And they'll say it's not going to sound like it doesn't sound like Rat God or Fearsick. It doesn't matter what we do. So we'll just play what we play. But I don't think we're going to stray too far from it, because I don't think Florida death metal really needs to go too far from what it is. It's aggressive, it's hard hitting, it's groovy, it's you know, it's got guitar wankery, it's got all that, and it's got, you know, our lyrical themes, while some of them are like silly and about like death and zombies and shit, but for the most part it's actually all existential stuff. So that'll still remain. You know, we'll write about social climates, and we'll write about like mental health, because fuck, everybody goes through it. Everybody. I mean, yeah. Everybody puts pants on the same, everybody shits, you know.
Yeah. So before we go, I just want to thank you for this interview. Is just anything else with Inhuman Condition that you would like to plug?
Nope. Just thank you. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for rocking, and keep an eye out, man. We're not going anywhere.
Awesome. So everybody, Jeramie from the Inhuman Condition. We'll see you next time.